Welcome back, familiar to Northside LDN Caramba. Make sure you're hitting the like button and subscribing. And today we've got the news of Newcastle might be in FFP problems and might be forced to sell Bruno Guimaraes, who is one of the big targets for Arsenal Football Club this season. And Arsenal may be able to force Newcastle's hand in getting in the £100 million CDM. Obviously, Thomas Partey. We've all heard Thomas Partey potentially leaving Arsenal, potentially leaving due to the injury problems that he's been having since joining Arsenal Football Club. And we may be forced to get rid of him. Now, Bruno Guimaraes has been a player that has been linked with Arsenal for a couple of weeks now as Partey's replacement, a player that I would like to see come to Arsenal, a player that I think has the qualities to succeed at Arsenal. And with his hefty price tag, Arsenal are yet to trigger his release clause. He has got a release clause, and Newcastle actually might be forced to sell him if they are hitting FFP, which is something that Arsenal could use to their advantage. This headline here, One Football from Just Arsenal News: Arsenal's £100 million target admits his future is uncertain. Arsenal target Bruno Guimaraes has admitted uncertainty about his future this summer amidst Newcastle financial fair play concerns. The Brazilian midfielder signed a new contract just months ago and has expressed his happiness at Newcastle. It goes on to say, let me stop this ad here. Anyway, there we go. There we go. Right. The Maggies are pleased to have him in their squad and have no intention of selling him. However, Guimaraes has a time-bound release clause that can be triggered for a limited period, making him a potential target for other top clubs. Arsenal, Man City, and PSG have shown significant interest in him, and any of these clubs could potentially activate the release clause to sign him. Newcastle is keen to retain Guimaraes and their top players, but their primary challenge is avoid FFP issues, which could complicate their ability to keep hold of key targets. Listen, if he's got a release clause, why are we not triggering it? Why are we not triggering it? He's clearly a player that will improve Arsenal. We definitely have a depth issue when it comes to our midfield. Yeah, you could say Thomas Partey and Declan Rice, but we don't know yet if the club's going to keep Partey, which we keep hearing talks that potentially we're going to get rid of Partey because of his injuries. We need depth and we need quality in depth. That's the problem. We have depth. We have Fabio Vieira. We have El Neni. We have players like that, but we have a problem with quality in depth. Now, Guimaraes is an absolute baller, and I'll take him at Arsenal. If he has a release clause, why are we not triggering it? Why are we not activating it? Why are we not putting pressure on Newcastle? Why are we not opening talks with him and his agent and the football club in terms of what it's going to take to get him over the line? These are the things I want to see Arsenal do. These are the proactive ways that I want to see this football club maneuver. If there's even a slight chance of making him turn his head and want to come to Arsenal Football Club, we should be utilising that. If that is the case, I want to see us be proactive, put pressure on teams like Newcastle. All due respect to Newcastle, I like Newcastle. I like the fans. I like the club. I think they're an excellent club. I actually like Newcastle. No problems. I got no problems with Newcastle. But at the end of the day, my priority is Arsenal. I'm an Arsenal fan. At the end of the day, let's put pressure on them. They're not as big as Arsenal. Yes, they've got owners with a lot of money. But if they have any FFP issues, which I think when they signed Gordon, they had a couple of issues there in terms of being able to have the money to make that deal actually work and for the player to actually join Newcastle. Let's apply pressure to Newcastle. Estou cansado da mesma porcaria of us dragging our feet. I've been hearing already for a couple of weeks that Man City are interested. Now we're hearing also PSG are interested. Go to the player. At the end of the day, if Man City actually enter this race for Bruno Guimaraes, is anyone actually convinced that he's actually gonna pick Arsenal over Man City? I doubt it. I doubt it. Yeah, and Man City have got money. Man City continue to generate money. Yeah, last season, treble winners. This season, win the Premier League. They're generating money. They're winning major honours. They've got the best manager in the world. Let's keep it real. They've got the best manager in the world. Why would a player not want to play for Pep? Why would a player say no? Especially a player, all due respect, coming from Newcastle. Anyway, let's go. Let's carry on with the article. Let's carry on. Guimaraes was recently asked about his future, and he said, as quoted by the Daily Mail, "Look at my future. To be honest, it's in God's hands. I have a contract with Newcastle. I'm very happy. As I said, I know how much they like me. I know everything I've been doing for the club. In short, I have a contract. I'm happy. I don't know what can happen. We know everything about financial fair play, but what can I say? What can I say is that I feel happy." Listen, why is he bringing up? Why is a player talking about financial fair play? Maybe there's something in that. Listen, I haven't gone through everything with Newcastle. I'm not an absolute financial genius when it comes to Newcastle, but I have seen them in recent times have issues, even though they've got a very wealthy owners, have issues about FFP and the restrictions it brings on a club like Newcastle, which is a big club, but isn't one of the traditional big four, big six, whatever you want to call it, and the revenues that the other clubs, the rest of us can generate and therefore actually spend on the FFP. Just an Arsenal opinion says FFP worries are real and it could force Newcastle to cash in on one of their top players, Guimaraes. Listen, they clearly don't want to part with him, and I completely understand. He's one of their best players, and Newcastle have ambitions to get in the the big six or whatever you want to call it. They have ambitions to get Champions League football, and then they can't be getting rid of their best players, and it doesn't bode well for Newcastle. Players they want that club to be looked at as one of the clubs that you go to win major honours, not a stepping stone. And if they let Bruno Guimaraes go, it definitely looks like they're a club that's a stepping stone, not a club that's gonna you're gonna go there and get major honours from. At the end of the day, if this guy has a release clause, trigger the release clause, force the club's hand, because if they're in financial trouble, they're clearly going to accept a bid of 100 mil up. They're going to accept it. So just go out there and get it done. And people will say, "Oh, but it's not easy. This ain't FIFA. Look at this. You got to consider this. You got to consider." I don't care. I do not care. We are so close to being great. I don't care. If this ownership really believe in Mikel Arteta and think he's the man to get us over the line, back him again. Because if you're not backing him, why are you not firing him? If you're not going to back the manager with the players that he needs to get over the line, why don't you fire him? Because clearly, under the model that we have at Arsenal, the self-sustaining, it doesn't work with a manager like Arteta. So you either back him with the money that we need to spend out to go out there and get a Bruno Guimaraes to replace Partey, or strengthen our midfield, and go and spend another 100 odd million to get the striker that we need, or you get a manager that with limited funds or with less funds than what's necessary can get over the line. It's one or the other. You can't keep Arteta in the job and then not giving the players to get over the line. He's already an inexperienced manager. He's already going up against the best manager around. You either back him financially, or you go get a manager that can deal with the way that the football clubs run or the finances that we have available. For me, it's very simple. It's very, very simple. Pick one. It seems like they're going to give him a new contract. I believe the contract's already been agreed. I think Arteta's already signed a new contract. And already that already annoys me. But if you're going to do that, at least back your decision. Some people, listen, I feel like the manager's been given more than enough money to be able to have a team to get over the line. I do. But if the ownership are going to keep him in the job, he needs the money. And in this market, Bruno Guimaraes will be going from 70, 80 million to 100 million pounds. That's what it costs. Go out there and get it done. Sell the players that we need to sell. There's a lot of dead wood. There's a lot of wages to be freed up. There's a lot of player sales and finances that will be brought up with players that need to go. Make it happen. Simple as that. I don't care about excuses. I don't care about this, I do not care. If man want to talk to me about FFP, man should have thought about that before they were twerking and shaking their bum for players, spending money on players that they don't rate, i.e., the majority of that bench. So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. It's time to deliver. It's time to deliver. It's been time to deliver. Let's keep it right. It's been time to deliver. And I'm tired of it. So, listen, Bruno Guimaraes, for me, is actually a player I want at Arsenal. Is actually a player that I rate. And I would be happy with Bruno Guimaraes' signing at Arsenal Football Club. This is one of the few transfers that we've been linked to that I'm actually happy with. I'm happy with the links. I hope we get him. But one thing I do know is if other clubs that are more successful right now, or other clubs that are historically bigger than us, if they get involved for Bruno Guimaraes, guess what? Just like Rafinha, just like Modric, they're not coming to Arsenal. They're not coming to Arsenal. So, listen, I'm kind of tired, man. I'm tired of hearing all of this. Listen, if these reports are true and he has a release clause, trigger it. If Bruno Guimaraes is the player that we want, go out there and get it done. Go out there and get it done. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear no excuses. I don't want to hear, because what I fear is going to be is, oh, Arteta, he wanted Bruno Guimaraes, but he wasn't backed. He wasn't this, wasn't that. I don't need excuses. Go out there, get the player done, get the player over the line. Familia, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. Let me know what you think about Bruno Guimaraes. Let me know all that good stuff. Hit the bell notification every day when we drop videos. The latest transfer news surrounding Arsenal Football Club. What do you think? Do you believe that Newcastle are under FFP, are toeing the line with FFP and need to sell? Or do you think Arsenal, they have no chance of getting this player over the line? He's staying at Newcastle. Let me know. And without further ado, Kadamba, I'm out. Love, familia.